Well, ask anyone in the hospitality business, and it's very tough running a restaurant. Few are as successful as Pauline Ewan, who, with her husband Mark Jensen and brother Luke, they launched the Red Lantern restaurant in Sydney and have won plenty of awards with years of hard work. It's an absolute institution in Sydney, I've got to be honest. And Pauline believes that there is another side to life beyond just business, and she talks about it in her new book. Let's welcome her to Studio 10. It's great to see you.
Thank you. Hello. It is my joy to be here. Thank you. The last time I was here was to see my husband on Ready Steady Cook.
Oh, really?
Did he win? He had a 6-year stint on Ready Steady Cook. It was always a joy to be in the studio.
Do you know what I loved about you as well? Just before we came on, I said, how do I pronounce her surname? Because it's often pronounced Nguyen or Nguyen, and you said, you win. Like, you win or you lose. And I love that about you, because obviously you've got that sort of mentality, because it takes a lot of hard work to launch a restaurant. Tell us about where your work ethic came from and your journey as a child.
It was literally beaten into me. It was literally beaten into me. Look, he didn't know any better at the time. He suffered terribly from PTSD.
Wow.
We are refugees, boat people, and coming to Australia with absolutely nothing, he had this incredible work ethic that he instilled into all of us. I started working when I was 7.
Wow.
And that's how it should be.
My father had a restaurant. He opened Cabramatta's very first ice cream parlour. He had Cabramatta's very first... We were Cabramatta's very first barista.
He went, wow.
Yeah.
He decided to go there because of the community.
The community
spirit.
Yeah. But we were making cappuccinos in the 80s and they were 10 centimetres high. Remember those cappuccinos?
Yes, I do.
And you were really strong-willed. So did that bring you into conflict with your father, having a girl who was strong-willed?
I wasn't allowed to be strong-willed.
Really?
I just did what I was told.
So when did that come out?
When I ran away from home.
Right.
Oh,
That'll do it.
You were
That'll do it.
17.
I was 17.
And you devastated your father.
Well, it's a big thing to have your eldest daughter run away. And big thing for his stature in the community. I put a lot of humiliation on my family, but it was something that I had to do.
And you literally ran away, but they didn't know, you just...
No, I
slipped
hid out for years.
Wow.
Wow.
Did you ever repair the relationship with your dad?
Absolutely, absolutely.
How did that come about?
I wrote my first book 11 years ago. It's called Secrets of the Red Lantern, a very dark and personal memoir which I disguised as a cookbook. So people would buy it. It worked a treat. I won Debut Writer of the Year. It became an international bestseller. And through the book, it's a very a beautiful arc of a story about forgiveness and the human story, the family story. And it was in the process of writing that book that we reconciled, because it takes a lot for a man like him to read his life story written by his prodigal daughter and come to terms with it all.
And then he said, because he said, I want to read the manuscript, and you gave it to... And there was something about a recipe, and that's all he noticed in the book, wasn't it? Yeah, what was it?
It was... I said, what do you think about my book, Dad? And it wasn't finished yet. It was my intention to finish the book and then give it to him in its entirety, but he demanded to see it before it was finished. And it so happened that he demanded to see it in the worst chapter about him.
Oh, no.
And all he was worried about was the recipes, but that was all the pretend as well.
Yeah.
So what do you want people to learn from your new book?
I want people to learn that spirituality is not a scary word. Spirituality is simply physics that hasn't been explained yet. To be in spirit, to be inspired, to do your best work. It has nothing to do with religion. And in order to be in spirit and inspired is then we can find true happiness.
And success as an entrepreneur. I mean, you've obviously...
And kill all the competition and stomp over their bodies as well.
There is no fighting.
We would love you to come on the show and cook for us sometime if you're available. It would be an absolute honour to have you show us
It would be my
around.
pleasure. I no longer cook because I have people who do that better than I do. I am a professional eater.
Same.
But of course I can cook. It was beaten into me as a child.
And your brother Luke is also, of course, a great cook. Do you get super competitive with him?
Oh, it's a competition. There's no competition.
Oh, you put us to drive me crazy!
We are our biggest competition.
I just want to ask one question. How long did it take before you reconciled with your father?
When I ran away, I was in hiding for about 5 years, and I went back to please my mother. She begged me to go back. And so it was very tricky and very difficult for us for many years until I wrote the book.
Did he acknowledge what he'd done was wrong or that he'd hurt you, or was that...
Yeah.
Or was
there
it
was
just
never
you
an
just put it
apology.
behind? Yeah.
I didn't need an apology, but certainly there was acknowledgement. Very, very brave of him.
Yeah.
You're an extraordinary woman with an amazing story to tell. Pauline will be speaking at a special roundtable next Tuesday. Details at the website, which is on your screen now, and her book is out now. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you so very
joining
much.
us. Thank you. Now, after the break, we'll check on this.